10, 9.
You want answers? I want the truth!
Get ready for two guys who can't handle the truth.
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
But we can. Dave, Palumbo, Chris Aceto. RxMuscle.com presents Heavy Muscle Radio. Watch out!
Welcome to another episode of Heavy Muscle Radio. I'm Dave Palumbo, and I'm joined, as always, by the technician, Chris Aceto, on this, I don't even know what date it is, February 11th, 2019, Monday morning here, and we're recording. I guess Chris is still in the UK, doing his UK tour, the Super Tour. It's
the Victory Tour.
The Victory Tour, right. It's a delayed Victory Tour with Shawn Rhoden.
Yeah, it was. It's kind of we remember when Michael Jackson was going to do 50 shows in like 50 days, and that's what killed him.
Yeah,
we did like whatever,
This Is
10
It
days.
tour. Yeah,
It's equally as exhausting, and I don't even sing or dance.
Who's doing more talking, you or Shawn? Though I have to imagine you are.
You know what? It's me, Shawn, and Psycho Lewis.
Oh, so Psycho might be doing the most talking.
Yeah, he does the most talking. You know what? Psycho is like a inner city Anthony Robbins.
He does have a lot of energy and motivation, though. That I think probably people enjoy that. You know.
Well, he's found his voice, and he knows how to. I think, even though he doesn't motivate people in the gym, he doesn't. Not one of these guys who say, like, "Come on, Shawn," or "Come on, Dave, you got 10 more in you." He just pushes you through the workout, but he's got a lot of good stuff to say. Like, very articulate.
Yeah, no, he's good.
And,
I told you he was good when I had him on the radio show, the TV show.
Yeah. Once you wind him up, he takes off.
Yeah, no,
I tell you, he can't last 2 seconds in a car without falling asleep. That's why I said it's a bit, fairly grueling, because sometimes we're doing like 2 seminars in 2 days, and they're 4 hours apart, believe it or not.
Well, I know you're not sleeping there because your hours are all messed up. You're recording. What is it, like 4 in the morning there?
Yeah, it's 4 in the morning here.
You don't. But when you're on the road, you never sleep, though. I don't know. You can do it.
No, I enjoy it because I can. You know what? I came back to the hotel today at 1:30 in the morning, and I was able to work, do stuff.
I had to work. I had a lot of work.
I had to work, and I don't want to get into it.
So I don't know if anyone knows out there. I put it out there on my Facebook page that Robbie Robinson has been in the hospital.
Oh, I didn't know. We were just talking about his, infinitesimal health that he has.
I know, and I have, I have a cell phone, so I had to text him because one of his friends, or someone who knew him, said, "Dave, he's in the hospital. He has, he's a VA, he's a veteran, and he goes to the VA hospital, but certain things they don't cover." And I guess for those of you who don't know, Robbie Robinson has sickle cell anemia. It runs in your family. His dad died of it, actually, because what happens is with sickle cell anemia is the cells should be what's called a biconcave disc. Think if you take like two glasses, if you wear glasses and you have their concave lenses, if you put them back to back, that's what a red blood cell should look like, because that creates the most surface area for oxygen exchange. In people who have sickle cell anemia, the cells are sickle-shaped, if you know what that is. If they're like twisted, they don't exchange oxygen very efficiently. So usually, usually people who have sickle cell anemia produce excessive amounts of red blood cells, but they're just not that functional. And because there's so many of them, a lot of times they can gunk up the vessels of like the kidneys, the liver, small arterioles can get clogged and causing circulation problems. And a lot of times and I don't know if this happens like earlier in life, but throughout your life, a lot of times you have to get blood transfusions, to kind of water down or give yourself some good cells. And I guess Robbie had an episode, and he was not feeling good, and he went to the VA, and they told him, you're not in good shape. You could die, from this. Your organs are not receiving enough oxygen, and the vessels are clogging. And for some reason, the way I understand the story is that the VA won't pay for these like transfusions because it's not necessary in the sense that he's going to die necessarily, but he might, that kind of thing. So the VA is weird what they cover and don't cover. So it was like a $3,500 procedure. So one of his good friends and a former client of mine, a friend of mine, this guy Chad, started a GoFundMe campaign, and I put it all over on Facebook. I actually tagged you in it, but I know you don't go on your Facebook. But maybe you can put it on your Instagram.
How much? Send it to me. I'll tag it. And
Yeah, and maybe you can go donate a little something too. I donated $100 just to kind of like get the whole thing rolling and everything like that. But it's tough because Robbie's older. He's in his 70s. He doesn't have health insurance. He uses the VA. That's his health insurance. And it's a little sad in the sense. So I think all us iron guys. Without guys like Robbie Robinson, there would be no bodybuilding. I mean, he's one of the pioneers. Out there. So we're up to the goal is $7,000 they're trying to raise for him, and we're up to $985 already. Brad and Elaine Craig just from the Emerald Cup, they just donated $300. I see Jeff Beckham gave $100. That was nice. Brian Hoyt gave $100. Chad Shave gave $100. He's the one who started the whole thing.
I'll give $100 once the show's over.
Yeah, no, I know you definitely will. Very nice. Yeah, you guys, you know what? It's just it's a good thing. It's good karma. Robbie is, like I said, he's been one of the guys who made this sport. He was in pumping iron. I mean, he won the Masters, Olympia. Probably should have won a lot more pro shows than he did. And he's a beacon for this sport. We want to keep him alive till he's 100, and that's his goal. He wants to live to 100. He wants to be the Blackjack Lane. And he's just a good guy. I've been texting him. He's down. They have him on oxygen now because he can't get enough oxygen exchange, because of the cells. And we got to get him some new blood in that. I told him, I said, Robbie, he was afraid. I said, Robbie, just get the transfusion. I said, don't worry about it. We'll get the bills paid for. He's like, but I hear I can get HIV from the I said, Robbie, that doesn't happen anymore. They screen the blood. I said, I just got 2 units of blood when I got my shoulder done. I said, you're fine. Just do the transfusion. So he said, all right, fine. I'll get it done. So I just want to make sure he has his medical bill. There's nothing worse than when you get older to have to worry about if you can pay your bills. It's just a terrible feeling. So guys, be generous. Even if you can only give $20, just give something because it'll add up. He'll get the 7,000. We're already at 1,000. It's only been a couple of hours, so I'm sure I'll get it. I know there's a lot of generous people out there. Aaron, if you're listening, give $1,000. You got to outdo everyone anyway. So give the 1,000. Maybe you can give more. Maybe you can pay the whole bill. Maybe Robbie can be a red card athlete. Aaron,
maybe Aaron can buy his 1978 Mr. Universe trophy.
Or his Masters Olympia. Sandow. No, Aaron's very generous too. I'm sure he'll give. I'm just breaking balls. So Robbie is not doing good, but I think once he gets the transfusion, he'll feel pretty good. What else is going on? You're in the UK. How many seminars have you given now?
I think about 14.
Wow. 14 seminars. And how long is your portion of the seminar?
Well, it's me, Psycho, and
Right, but how long do you talk for?
No, I only talk for probably 35, 40 minutes max.
That's a lot. You did how many? You're gonna probably do another 10 of them, knowing you. But that's a lot. This guy's getting his money's worth out of you. I
just tape it, and then the next.
Yeah, you guys may actually be getting underpaid. I thought at first it was pretty good, but I think you guys are getting underpaid for what you're doing.
Well, let's tell Subi Ali. He's the guy who brought in.
Oh, Subi brought you over? Come on, Subi.
Yeah.
Pay him more. Subi's making all the money. I guarantee it. He's a good guy, though.
Yeah, very good guy. He's first class. He had, he had Jay over, and he had, Flex Lewis, and he's had Kai.
Are there any bed bugs in the hotels you've been staying at? Don't bring any home because your tenants will not be happy.
We stayed at a couple weird old castles that I love the architecture when you get in them. The rooms probably turned them into a hotel probably in the 60s, and everything is from the 60s.
They're probably from the 1600s. They're probably. What are you talking about? The 60s, 1600s.
The remodel. The castle is.
Oh yeah.
So
I'm surprised you haven't started buying UK real estate.
We looked at. We pulled into a town today, and I said, Subi, this is a great town to buy in. A depressed mill town.
Yeah.
But in the where the hot water's on one side, and you can't get warm water. You get hot on one and then cold.
Yeah. In school they used to have that. Remember when we were kids? You had to try to get a little from the hot water, and then you had to try to cool it off real quick with the cold water.
That's exactly what I do. You have to put a plug in the sink to mix it up.
I forgot that in school. Remember why they had the faucets that wouldn't stay on? I have no idea. You had to wash your hand with one hand, you know, and then switch hands.
So, but we've been running around and we've been eating like tons of great food. I've actually reviewed like 2 or 3 of the restaurants in my TripAdvisor account.
Oh, cool. Did you see Zach Kahn at all?
No, we did not. It's so funny that one of the first people I asked about was Zach King Kong Khan, and I have not seen Brother Zach.
I got to get him on TV show. We haven't had him on in a while.
I know, because I figured, you know what?
If you run into him, tell him we got to get him on. You know who's gonna? You know who wants to get on a debate? I had Vegan Gains on the TV show this past week. I don't know if you saw it.
The independent counsel, arrested who? Him and Roger Stone.
No, I had Vegan Gains on because I felt that his YouTube channel was taken away from him. Which, by the way, he wound up joining one of those multi-network ones. It's so YouTube is so political. Like, he joined this multi-network, which takes like a percentage of your income. Which, of course, his income is really high because he's got like 350,000 subscribers, but they do marketing for you, so they usually get you more subscribers. It kind of makes up for itself. But by doing that, they were able to negotiate YouTube letting him back on because they have so many people under their channel, their auspices.
Well, why? Yeah, sure. Why they shut him down because of what?
He got 3 strikes. It was for old stuff that matter of fact, you know how he always talks out against slaughterhouses because he's a vegan. He doesn't think that people should eat meat. Yeah. They thought that he was advocating for slaughterhouses. One of the strikes they gave against him. They thought he was because he was showing slaughterhouses in these videos. They thought that he was like, look at this great slaughterhouse where they bleeding these animals. He was actually putting it down and saying, you see, this is why you shouldn't eat meat. So they don't even really look, you know know what happened? Everyone hates this guy, so they probably report him every 10 minutes. You can build
bombs on YouTube, and you can still find bomb building on YouTube. And
I know, but you know what happens? He makes fun of people, and then 20,000 people complain about him to YouTube, and they can't take it anymore. They don't want to hear it, so they take your channel away from you. It's like Louis Marco lost his channel, but Louis Marco was doing political stuff, from what I understood. It wasn't even about bodybuilding.
What type of political stuff?
I don't know. He's like a very politically. I don't know what his views are. To be honest with you, I don't have time to listen to him.
Yeah, well,
he's very against the American political system. Put it that way.
Two people who
you Canadians.
Kind of had a little battle with last year lost their YouTubes.
I know. I told you I took credit for both of those, put them out of business. And what else? Oh, so anyway, so a vegan wants to. Because I guess Lee Priest was making fun of vegans at one point on one of our TV shows. So vegan wants to debate him. I said, all right, and I asked Lee. Lee's up for it, so I'm going to get a debate, iron debate, Vegan Games versus Lee Priest. I think that would be pretty good.
What topic are they going to debate?
Veganism. They're going to say Lee's going to probably say it's bullshit, for bodybuilding, and vegan's going to say you can get big on just vegetables, which. Not debatable, and I'm sure they'll both. I wouldn't want to debate. Lee is pretty brutal. I wouldn't want to get on there. But this vegan is, Vegan Gains is pretty. He's pretty outspoken, and he likes to argue. So it might be a good argument. But Lee has got that Australian sense of humor. I don't think you could really battle like those guys. I wouldn't want to battle them.
Yeah.
Vegan Gains was telling me about. I didn't know he had mental illness. He has suicidal thoughts. He has auditory and visual hallucinations. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Which would probably make him like schizophrenic. I would think. I didn't really hear him use that term, but
mental illness.
He's got mental. So I feel. I sympathize with that because it's.
No, I mean, believe me.
I did throw a joke in there. I did say, by the way, this is really not happening. I said you're hallucinating this whole thing. You know how like that movie, the movie Wonderful Mind with the mathematician. Yeah. What's his name played it the part? Russell Crowe plays him. The guy won the Nobel Prize. He was schizophrenic. Thought he was talking to thought he had a roommate all through college. It was an imaginary person. He didn't know. He thought he was cracking codes for the during World War II for the Allies. But he solved some fucking mathematical problem that was in economics theory, and he won a Nobel Prize for it. Genius. Some of the craziest people are the smartest people. I always say that. Most innovative.
They're parallel. I mean, some of the most brilliant, creative, innovative people are either, but suffer from mental illness, depression, schizophrenia.
Or autistic. Didn't they say Einstein was autistic? Isn't that the newest theory?
I don't know. I haven't heard that theory.
Somewhat, yeah. I think he was on. They say he was on the spectrum. So I'm having. I went to this place called Fruitscapes today. Brought the whole family out there. They sell fruit trees. That's all they do. It's like on Bokelia Island, which is part of like Pine Island here. Which is, for those of you who don't know Pine Island, you probably have heard of Sanibel Island. Well, it's one of the islands right here on the west coast off of Fort Myers. So we went there. We didn't really need any trees, but when you go to a place like that, you have to buy trees. It's like there's so many of them. It was like everywhere. The coolest trees you've ever seen. We bought this fig tree that like Edison brought over with him. It's like these trees will live for 1,500 years. They'll grow like 98 feet tall, something like that. They have the ones where they have the roots that come down, off the tree into the ground. I don't know if you've ever seen them.
Oh yeah, I love those trees.
Oh,
yeah.
That's what one of these trees are. So we bought. It's a little baby, but then I also bought a grapefruit tree. We brought two mango. We brought a mango tree, and we bought 2 avocado trees. Now I don't know if you know about this. I always wondered, you know how you go to a Mexican restaurant and they have guacamole all year round, right?
Yep.
I'm always like, where are they growing all these avocados that they got them year round, right? There's got to be seasons, right? It only makes sense.
I thought they get them from Mexico because when the NAFTA was trying to be rebranded, they were talking about taxing the avocados from Mexico.
I always thought if you grow avocados, right, then they probably have a season where they bloom and they produce avocados, and you probably for a month or 2 or 3, you get 1 million avocados, and then you don't have any more, right? Well, evidently, there's different avocado strains that all bloom at different times. Like one is a winter one, one's a summer one, one's a fall one, one's a spring one. So if you buy 4 different avocado trees, you can have avocados all year round. So that's what we did. We bought these 2 avocado trees. I already have 2 at the house.
Or New Year's or something.
Haven't produced one avocado yet. I have avocado trees. And I found out about how you have to I wasn't fertilizing enough. We bought these banana trees when we first moved in, and banana trees are supposed to grow like weeds, I'm like, we get these things for 2 years. We don't even. I don't think it grew an inch. The tree. We have leaves on it, but it's not growing any. Then I found out banana trees are like slobs. They like to eat a lot. So if you don't fertilize them like every 2 or 3 weeks, they don't grow. They gobble down nourishment from the soil. Whereas most fruit trees you can go, you do it every couple of months, every 6 months you can fertilize.
Have them to the left of the pool when you go out in the back, or to the right of the pool?
Yeah, if you're looking at my backyard, like from the front of the house, to the left I have a few trees. All the citrus trees I planted are pretty much dead, and that I found out because the way they die down here is if you don't give, you got to what's called drench them. You have to put it's like giving them cigarettes to smoke. You put nicotine into the soil via like some kind of a wash, and it goes into the leaves. And then it doesn't make the bugs won't eat the leaves because they become bitter or something like that. The good thing is that it doesn't go into the fruits. So the fruits are it's like more of an organic type of fertilizer or anti-pesticide, I guess you could say. So I wasn't doing that. And I thought the trees weren't growing because the soil sucked, but I found out the soil is actually pretty good for the sand soil is kind of good for the trees. The problem was that the bugs were killing all the leaves off. And if you don't have leaves, then you can't produce. The trees die pretty much. It doesn't matter. You can't make fruit if you don't have leaves. So that was. So I got a lesson in trees today. You know me. I always like to learn new stuff every day. I try to find things. It's hard to find things that as you get older that you don't know about. Or that actually interest you that you don't know about. So,
yeah, I would say ladder that interests you. So
we had to go. It's such a big place. We had to get in the back of this golf cart, and Logan was going. He loved it, going for the golf cart ride. So now he wants us to get a golf cart. All the people in my neighborhood have golf carts. When we first moved in, I'm like, I'm not getting a golf cart.
No.
You know,
it's
I'm
a sign
going to
of
get a golf
age.
cart. Yeah, I'm definitely getting old if I'm going to get a golf cart. I might as well get a captain's hat while I'm at it too, right?
Yeah, you need flip flops and a robe, and you can just go out like all the other old people in the neighborhood.
Did I ever tell you the
Walk
story?
around
Yeah. Did I ever tell you the story? We went to visit my grandmother. Moved to Florida for a brief period of her life, and we came. That was the only time we ever got on an airplane as a family, and we went down to visit her. And she was in one of these like the retirement communities.
Yeah.
And my dad and I were throwing a football in the parking lot of the facility, and this guy with a captain's hat came out and said, "You can't throw a football here." My father's like, "Who says who?" He goes, "I'm the captain here." I say, my father's like, "What do you need a captain in?" I remember this as a kid. He's like, "What do you need a captain? This is there's no water around here. What are you the captain of?" It's like, "I'm the captain of this community." The guy had to be like 90 years old. He was screaming at my dad. That's what I'm going to be wearing a captain's hat. I'm going to be the captain of the community here pretty soon. I went to my first board meeting, although I'm not on the board yet. I might apply to be on the board of the Northwoods here.
Would like did you guys pay like an HOA fee every month?
No, we it's a voluntary thing. We all maintain everyone in this Northwoods little community, which is we voluntarily pay, which means half the people pay and half them don't, to maintain the roads and just do basic because we don't want the town coming in. We don't want Lee County coming in and starting to dictate what can be done and not be done. So if we take care of it on our own, they kind of leave us alone.
Mm-hmm.
So they built this huge. I don't know if people even want to hear this, but I hear in the UK they do want to hear it. Chris sent me like 10 videos from all the people in the UK who listen to the Heavy Muscle radio show, and they say, we don't even want to hear about bodybuilding. We just want to hear about like what you guys do every day.
It's true.
Right?
That's what I said to
He sent it. I couldn't believe it. They're like, no, don't talk about bodybuilding. Talk about bedbugs, which I have a good bedbug story, but I'm going to get to that a little later. So I think so. I went to a meeting because they built this huge like ditch on the side of my new property that I bought next door to me, and it's like literally, I know if I go bike riding, I'll ride into the ditch and probably kill myself. So we're trying to figure out a way to fix it. So I had to go to this meeting with all the people. And I really don't like to go to meetings like you don't, right? And I try to be quiet the whole time, and then I couldn't control myself, and I started just being the voice of reason and logic there. So they're like, you should join the board. I'm like, I don't really want to be on the board. They're like, but it's your property. So I might be on the board. I don't know. We'll see. It'd be the biggest nightmare of their life if they got me on the board. Yeah. But there's a guy who he used to run carnivals. He's got all the carnival, those little carnivals that travel around and they got like all the rides.
Yeah, like Great Adventure.
He's got them like in his backyard. It's like Sanford and Son over there, and he wouldn't shut up. I mean, he was right. I like what he was saying was right. I was in agreement with him, but he just kept repeating himself over and over again about the ditch. I'm like, what if I just fill the ditch in and I'll solve all your problems? And one day you guys will wake up and everyone will say, the ditch is gone. The problem's gone. No, we got to vote on it.
It's got to be a democratic process. That's right. You'd be a benevolent dictator.
There's one person who wants the ditch, and it's not even in his. I said it's not even on his property. That's why he wants it. I said because it's draining his property. No one else cares about it. Anyway, I wanted to talk about also, and this is hysterical. I sent this to Chris, so he knows the story already, but it was pretty funny. In Rogers County Courthouse in eastern Oklahoma, they had to close early this past Monday. They said a lawyer who was doing talking in court had a bedbugs jumping off his clothing in the courtroom. Can you imagine that?
Yeah, it's like ricin or something.
They're like
people.
The sheriff.
It's like anthrax. It's like anthrax of the bug community.
Yeah, the sheriff said it's hard to imagine that someone doesn't know that they got bedbugs crawling all over them in abundance. They said. Exterminators were called to the building when employees and others treated themselves as a precaution. Oh my God.
I met with the HUD housing director once, and she told me that once somebody came in, somebody who had public housing assistance, and they met with someone about their paperwork, and they realized that they had a bunch of bed bugs on them, and I'm serious. everyone in that wing ran out of the office into the parking lot.
I don't blame it. You don't want to bring it into your house. But the funny thing is, this guy wasn't even like one of the guys who were locked up. He was a lawyer, and he had him crawling on him.
Crazy.
That's pretty bad. Yeah, pretty bad. So I had on the radio show, or the TV show, I should say, this past week. I don't know if you watched it. Chris Dim. We were talking about his first foray into the wheelchair division, which will be taking place at the Arnold Classic in less than 4 weeks. So he's getting ready. This is the first one he's done. He said this is his warm-up. He said what he's really gearing up for is the Olympia. He's like, I don't know if I'll be my best here, but I'm going to try to be the best I can. He goes, it's a little hard when you haven't competed for 10 years. He goes, you get fat in weird places, and it takes a little. I said, yeah, no. I said, I understand that. I said, he's working very hard.
Get leaner. What type of diet is he following to get leaner?
I think he's pretty low carb. Yeah, he's pretty low carb. He's, what he? This is a good story. He started working with Milos because he was wearing the Coliseum gym shirt. Which I don't even know. Does Milos still own is there still a Coliseum gym that Milos even owns?
No, it's just like the imaginary one.
Oh, it's the imaginary one. Okay. So I said, does Milos have you on his usual, giant set insulin protocol? He's like, well, he goes, we started out like that, but I told him, look, Milos, I'm not that active. I'm in a wheelchair all day. I don't think the insulin's going to work for me. I'm getting low blood sugar, and I really can't do giant sets. He said, because I can't. He's like, I can't get around. I'm in a wheelchair. I said, I have this visual of Milos, like you doing a set, Milos fucking lifting you up and carrying you to the next machine, and you're doing another set, and Milos picking you up and carrying you to the next machine. Do another set. He was laughing.
Milos posted as somebody at one of my seminars brought it to me. He posted like I think it was 1995
I saw
Night
it.
of Champions, like
training journal,
like diet journal, like with the insulin and the carbs. And
isn't that the training journal that Nasser wanted to borrow from Milos, something like that, to read over?
I don't. Yeah. Oh, that's right. That's right.
Remember that?
Did he steal it from him?
Did he steal it? Or stole it? Didn't give it back, or some shit like that? Yeah, it was some crazy story like that.
I've seen that journal because actually, when I met Milos in like '95, let's see, I met him in '95 in Montreal, and I said, I asked him something about like how many carbs and how much protein did you diet on, and he pulled out of his like this carrying case. It was his like a 500-page booklet. It looked as big as like a Encyclopedia Britannica, and it had like the last like 4 years running of everything that he had done every day.
You know who would look at that and would say that's a joke? Guy says, and he'd be like, what a fucking disorganized mess that is, right? He would be like, Milos should be ashamed of himself with that journal.
I got to steal it and laminate it for him and like transcribe it into like perfectly written.
Yeah. But at the same time, Guy would say that he would be like, he would want to read it anyway, right?
Yeah. Me and Dr. Guy used to self-diagnose Shawn Rhoden pre-blood transfusions and bleeding ulcer that we thought he had sickle cell.
Oh, really? But
yeah, because
I think he said, did he have thalassemia or something like that? He told me, I thought he had something, no?
I don't know because he was falling asleep all the time, and we thought
he was just losing blood. Yeah, he didn't know that. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, there's sickle cell anemia, and then there's thalassemia. Thalassemia is another thing you can inherit, and a lot of like African American guys have it, and it's you don't carry oxygen well, and you become anemic because of that. There's two forms of it. The thalassemia minor, you which is what most of the people have, you can live with. The thalassemia major, you pretty much die. You don't live from. So there's a lot of carriers of it, and the only way you can get the major form is if both your parents had the minor and they have kids, and then there's a 25% chance you can get the major, and then you're fucked basically. But sickle cell is worse, I think, because all the red blood cells are basically just misshapen. They're just not good at carrying oxygen. It's a miracle that Robbie was able to so successfully train his whole career like that. He must have built up a tolerance. But I think as you get older, it's harder. But if he got a transfusion every 6 months, 8 months, he would feel great. It's a shame that that he's got to fight with these people to get it paid for.
Yeah, he's got to fight the enemy and then come back as a veteran and not be able to
Right.
got to fight the VA now for.
Now they're all. I think they must have found out who he was. Now they're kissing his ass. He said so. Maybe he'll get it taken care of after all. So anyway, so Chris Dim is training with Milos. So Milos finally agreed. He's like, all right, you're right. So I guess when they do their giant sets, he does it like on the same machine, just different like different exercises, in a row, and then he doesn't do the insulin. And ironically enough, Milos actually broke down and put him on like a ketogenic diet, so which I thought was pretty funny. Mr. Insulin and carb guy.
Yeah. Well, he's flexible.
Well, that's what makes a good coach. You have to know when to. People call me the ketogenic diet guy. I don't put everyone on a ketogenic diet. I happen to make it popular. That's all. That diet approach.
I saw something in the news this week about like the benefits of ketogenic diets, and I just the health benefits, and I didn't even read it. There were like 21 potential health benefits to ketogenic diet.
Yeah, I mean it works.
I thought immediately. What do you think I thought of immediately when I read that? Let's see how good you are.
Oh, Blackman trying to find an article opposite it.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought.
You know what the funniest thing about Blackman is?
That's exactly. That's exactly.
Yeah,
what
no
I
one
thought.
even knows who Blackman is anymore. The owner of Muscular Development, the defunct Muscular Development. He used to eat a ketogenic diet. He never ate carbs. I ate beans. No, he never ate carbs. So he was on a ketogenic diet, and then that's the ironic thing about the whole thing with him trying to put it down. He was actually on the diet. So don't you think if the thing wasn't healthy, or if it didn't work, he wouldn't follow it?
Yeah, but you've held it, so.
Yeah. That's what we had in common. We would go out to eat together. We would eat the same stuff, low carb, high protein, high fats, good fats, mono. He would completely drown his food in extra virgin olive oil. And garlic. He was like a garlic fiend. He would eat so much garlic that you can smell him like a mile away, Good for the immune system, it's cholesterol, But that's another story. So I had Boston Lloyd on the show also this past week.
Oh, you told me you were going to have him on. What?
Yeah,
what,
he was doing. I had him on Iron Rage, actually, not Iron Rage. I had him on Dave RX Rant, and he was basically ranting about these guys who sell these training programs online. He feels that it's a scam, that for people to write out sets and exercises is a joke. He thinks. He goes, "Come on," he goes. How many different routines are there? Just go to the gym and train. You got to pay someone for that. I agree.
It'd be like me using Google Maps to write out directions for someone in England when I don't even know where I'm going.
But think about it. If you or I sat down and, we can make up 25 different workouts or 50 different workouts by just rearranging, sets and reps and exercises and tweaking here and there. And then we just gave one out a week. It's a joke. Anyone could do it. It's so haphazard.
Who was he targeting in particular? So someone who was on his shit list?
Yeah. He called out a few. It was there's this new guy. What is his name? I can't even remember his name. He's some new guru. He works for Redcon. I can't remember the guy's little moniker that he uses. Something coach he calls himself. I don't know. He's the new guy. He's like
training specialist.
The hypertrophy coach, I think it is. That was what it was.
That's right. That's a very catchy name.
Yeah, he went after this guy big time.
Yeah, I want hypertrophy.
And then Boston we just went off. He told me about it. They talked about pretty much everything or everyone. So it was typical Boston. People love him. It's funny. People go on. I see the comments. No one gets more comments on their videos than he does. It's
funny. His name did not come up this whole trip because usually it comes up in some context, like what about Boston Lloyd?
Yeah.
Or something.
I was telling him I had. I don't even want to bring it up because I don't think we've posted that article yet. I had a great guy on the show. He's going to tell a great story. I'm not going to... I teased it last week. We'll wait till it goes on. I'll talk about it next week. What else was there I wanted to bring up?
Jose Raymond, by the way, had his hip replaced this week.
Oh, he did? I knew he was going to get it done. I didn't know he had it done yet. How'd it go?
He had it yesterday. It's successful. it's good. I mean, it's a big surgery, right? So he's.
Did they do a front or rear approach?
I don't. You know me. I wouldn't. You're the doctor. I wouldn't know.
Yeah, because what's the big difference?
Yeah,
if you get the front approach, you don't dislocate at all.
I just want to know how it went. Successful, not successful. I'm just
Right.
looking for the lowest, common, the easy answer.
Yeah. So you said it was successful. That's
Yeah, it was successful. Yeah.
good. He'll probably the hips are pretty. The recovery is pretty fast.
His brother had the same surgery.
His brother what?
Tito had the surgery before him a few years ago.
I didn't know that. Tito?
Yeah, I know.
Well, two of them trained like maniacs. So
That's
I don't
that's
doubt
it.
I did too. That's why I don't have two fake shoulders now.
Um,
The hips scare me more. I'll tell you why. Because you got to walk on them all the time. That's why I'm so worried about my quad and getting it redone. Because it's like you can't rest it really. My shoulder, I rest. Even though I use it too much, when I'm sitting and relaxing and sleeping, it's resting it. I'm not on it all day long. So, but I do have anxiety. And I'm sure he's going to get the same anxiety once you get the thing done. Now you're always thinking every little tweak you get on there. I was playing on the Apple TV box. They have this. It's almost like Wii. It's like tennis. You can play tennis and you swing the remote control and you push the button to hit the ball. It's very addicting. So I'm like, my wife. She's like, you look like you're playing Wimbledon. What are you doing? I said, well, I'm very competitive. I said, and I'm playing with my left hand because I can't use my right hand yet because of the shoulder surgery. So I'm playing lefty. I'm serving. I'm hitting the ball, and I'm sweating. I probably haven't raised my heart rate this high since I was out cycling. I mean, and I would play, and I'm obsessed. That's why I don't play video games because I get too into it and I can't stop. So that's when I get my workout done.
My 5-year-old was upset that he had mastered table tennis on the Wii at 5, and I'm serious. Then we went to Florida and he saw a table tennis, real table tennis game.
Did he actually play it? Was he good at it?
We grabbed the paddles and a little ping pong, and he was terrible at it. And he was so upset because he couldn't understand.
It's not the same thing because you actually think you're playing when you're actually doing these things.
No, he couldn't understand why he couldn't play, why he couldn't even hit it because he can hit it perfectly on. He beats me on the Wii.
Right. It's funny. No one's going to be able to do anything pretty soon, right? We're all going to be just like these virtual airheads that think we can do everything and we really have no physical talents whatsoever.
Well, went into a restaurant
pushing a button.
I went into a restaurant the other day, Dave, and there were probably 70 patrons there eating, and 10 people were talking to each other. The other 60 were on their phone. That's, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
You just all the tables looking at their phone.
Yeah, it's pathetic. It really is. I don't even know I don't know what's going to become the future of this country. I really don't.
Yeah. Well, we're going to get fatter, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think people are exercising. People going to the gym when they're getting a little older. Maybe the kids are a little under exercised, but I feel like there's a disconnect between people are not communicating with each other anymore. They're doing it through texting, and I just think that there's this. It's like no one's connected anymore. There's no one wants to go out anymore. No one wants to hang out. They just want to just text each other. They'd rather sit. I mean, literally, you can get guys in the same hotel next door to each other, and they're going to sit there and text each other rather than walk next door and knock on the door and sit and talk to each other in person. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, because you can text 10 different people and have 10 conversations all at the same time.
And you don't have to. It's like you don't have to face these people. It's like you can kind of just say whatever you want.
No, I know. Sinbad. I was listening to Sinbad the other day. I was cracking up because he was saying that they were talking about attention deficit disorder,
right.
And he was talking. He said, "So we didn't have that when we were kids because our parents would kick us outside. Fresh air is the cure for that." But which is in my mother's neighborhood. My kids went over once, and I told my kids when I was little in this neighborhood, it was filled with kids outside doing sports, in the street.
Mm-hmm.
And they had asked my mother if there's still kids who live in the neighborhood. And she said, oh, yeah, there's tons of kids who live in the neighborhood. And they had asked, they were younger, this was like pre-explosion of iPhones, but they had asked her, where are they? And she said, they're all in playing video games. So,
I don't know, it worries me, really, that with the video games. Luckily, my son's not really into that yet. He's kind of into the he watches a lot of videos though. He's on YouTube a lot. I don't know. So I guess he's just as addicted. I mean, watching videos and playing video games is pretty much, I think, the same thing. I was so proud because I actually raised my heart rate. I actually thought, hey, I'm actually exercising. This is not too bad. I'm playing video games and I'm getting exercise. Then I ate a big meal and I'm like, oh, let me play again because I can get my blood sugar down. You know how if you do a little exercise after you eat, it supposedly helps regulate your blood sugar.
Yeah, bring it back.
That's how I rationalize playing it again. Meanwhile, my shoulder's killing me now. It's all sore. Amanda's like, you're gonna hurt yourself. I'm like, of course I was on this rug and I twisted my toes and sprained my toe. It's hysterical when you get older. You get hurt like doing the stupidest stuff. I look at Instagram a lot of times. I'm not on it that much, but I go on Instagram. I'll post some stuff. And I got to say, whenever I look at Sergio Oliva Jr.'s page, the guy always looks amazing in every freaking picture he puts up there. You notice that?
Yeah.
He's like in awesome shape. He's like great. I don't know if he just looks good in tight shirts or what, but the guy looks like he looks freaky in every pose I see. Yeah, every picture he puts up there.
Are they recent?
I don't know. I thought they were. Maybe they're not. Maybe he's putting old pictures up there. It's possible.
I'll have to go check it out. He's creative, so he puts up some funny stuff.
No, he's good. And he's got those, and he's got his. I mean, if you don't want to buy his clothing line after looking at him and all the clothing he wears, I mean, you got to be crazy not to.
You can bring him on Iron Debate.
Oh, he loves to argue. Yeah.
Yeah, he does, and Dexter. Just don't bring me on because they're both tough to debate with.
The older Sergio gets, the more he starts looking like his dad. Have you noticed that?
Oh, totally. Yeah. Totally.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Some pictures he looks like his dad, and some pictures he looks like Phil Heath. I can't decide which one.
I knew you were going to say that. He has an uncanny resemblance to Phil in certain pictures.
Yeah. When he has like the facial hair, he looks a lot like his dad, more so.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of Phil Heath in him.
He wore that Fu Manchu, I guess you call it, when at the Tampa Pro. He shaved it off for the Olympia.
Yeah, no, you're right. Oh, it looks like he's doing good, so I'm happy to see that.
Yeah.
What's his plans for this year?
I don't know. He texted me the other day when I was here, and he said, "Give me a call sometime." And I said, "You want me to call you now?" And he said, "No, it's nothing important." So I'll find out tonight. This morning after I talk to you.
What are you advising him? Are you giving him advice, or is he giving you the advice?
No, I never advise people on what shows. People always say, "What do you think of this show?" I always do this. Why not?
What do you think he should do? New York Pro again? Tampa?
I don't know. Tampa, New York Pro.
Tampa's the last qualifier, right, before the Olympia. So, I mean, that might be the right one to go.
Yeah. He just got to get his body weight up and get big and then come back down.
He looks enormous in the pictures I see, but you know what? Like you said, he knows the angles and he knows all the illusions and stuff like that in these pictures.
Well, he's wide. He's wider than people think.
No, he is. He's got good width to his body, without a doubt. He's got great arms too.
Yeah,
he's got all the good showy body parts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like you remember Aaron Baker when he would walk around Gold's Venice.
Oh yeah, he looked like Superman.
There was no one better than the guy. I mean, he won he was Mr. Olympia of the gym. There's no doubt about it. And he had a great physique on stage too.
You know what's so funny about that? When Jay came out, I think we went out together in like '95. Jay hadn't won the Nationals yet, but people already stopped Jay like, wow, because he had the crazy width.
Yeah.
So I was in the gym with Jay, and Aaron Baker was at the other end of the gym, and Jay just was like, look at that physique, man. How does that not win shows? Like he was in a hut skins, like a onesie or something. It was like a
you look like a superhero, yeah.
And I mean, he just looked crazy in it. And of course, the irony is, you know, because I knew Aaron. Aaron came up to me and said, "Who's this guy?" After Jay had already spotted him.
That's funny.
Said, "Look at that guy."
You know, Aaron's thing was when he left the IFBB for the WBF, when Vince McMahon started that organization, I think that hurt him because he was at his peak of his powers at that point, and he probably made a lot of money, so it was probably a good move on his part. But I think when he came back, you know, there was a lot of animosity there, you know, and I don't know if he placed as well as he probably could have. But he was right. Remember, him and Flex Wheeler were battling it out, you know, for shows, first and second place. I mean, he was right up there with him, you know.
You know, he was phenomenal bodybuilder. You should have him on.
Yeah, you're right. I should. Got to add him to the list. Everyone's.
I remember going.
All the old timers have been contacting me.
I went up with Aaron. I think I don't know if we drove out together. No, we drove home together. I went out to watch him. Well, I went out for something else, but I went out to Vegas in 1989 to see, or maybe it was 88. Let's see, 87, 88, 89. I think 88. Yeah, I went out in 88 to see Aaron compete at the North Americas, and he got beat by Johnny Moran.
Wow.
And at that show, Linda Murray won the women's division, and I knew right there that she was going to be something, you know, big time superstar. And Aaron went that night after the show where he got second to Johnny Moran and ate at a buffet until he was ready to explode. And the next day he looked like a cement rock.
Wow.
Like peeled out of his gourd.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
In those days, Vegas was like a dump. That's why, I mean, it was like, remember, Vegas was like, there was nothing out there in 89.
No.
Yeah.
They were just starting to build the cool stuff.
The strip was like a little tiny strip. You could, zoop, okay, done. You know,
it wasn't what it is today, that's for sure.
Not even in the same, nothing.
So tomorrow we have Victor Martinez on. I'm doing an interview with him. I don't know if you've seen the pictures. He's looking really good.
Yeah, he looks very good.
He's almost looking like the old Victor. At least upper body. I haven't seen his legs, but upper body's looking really good. He's big. He's hard.
Yeah.
So Victor, can you believe Victor Munoz still trains him?
Of course.
I got to give credit where credit's due. Victor Munoz is the guy who told me, because Victor got his shoulders replaced. This was probably going back 5 or 6 years. And he's like, Dave, just get it done. I said, can you train? He's like, look, I could train. Look, he's flexing for me. You know, he had muscle. He was moving his arms around. He's like, Dave, I'm in no pain. I feel great. He's the first guy who actually got me saying, you know what, maybe I will get it done. Maybe it's not so bad after all. Because Victor Munoz, for some reason, has all these connections at the special surgery hospital in Manhattan. You know, they're the best. Mm-hmm. They're the ones who fixed Victor Martinez's torn patella tendon. Remember when he tore his patella tendon at the time? So somehow, and Victor Munoz hooked that up with the doctors there. I don't know who he knows or how he knows it, but I think he trains a couple of the doctors there or something like that. And he got his shoulders done. That would probably, if I was still in New York, I probably would have called him, and that's where I would have gotten mine done. Luckily, I found the best guy out. I mean, the guy who did mine was phenomenal, so I can't complain.
Speaking of surgeries, I learned in England that nobody does gyno surgery here. That's what I was told.
Oh, wow. People got to come and go to Dr. Blau here in New York. Fly over.
Yeah. I
tell them all the time. A lot of people fly over. If you tell Dr. Blau that you're a friend of mine and that you want to get your gyno done and you live in the UK or you live here or there, he'll give you enough of a discount to offset the cost of the flight and the hotel. So there's no excuse not to do it. Plus, who doesn't want to go to New York and hang out for a couple of days? I mean, it's only, maybe not in the winter, but certainly in the spring or summer and fall, it's beautiful. So you're crazy if you don't call. If you call anyone else but Dr. Blau, you're nuts, because this guy has done so many gyno surgeries that there's no possibility that there isn't a case that he hasn't seen already of varying degrees from difficult to easy. Go on his Instagram. He actually has an Instagram. I talked to him into starting an Instagram. I said, put videos up of all the surgeries you do. That's what all these surgeons do now. And if you want to watch a gynecomastia surgery, just put it's at Dr. Blau. That's his handle there. And every day he puts up new surgeries because he does tons of them every day. People don't realize most plastic surgeons do one surgery a month if they're lucky. He does like 3 or 4 a day. So if you want to look at it and you're intimidated, there's nothing worse than seeing a guy with terrible gyno up on stage. Yeah, it's the one thing that you have to spend a lot of money on in bodybuilding in one shot. It just has to be done. It's like women have to get breast implants, if they want to do well. The men have to get gyno. They got to get their breasts removed. That's just the way it is. It's unfortunate, but that's the way it is.
The irony.
Yeah.
Putting them in and taking them out.
Jimmy the Bull Palecchia sent me a video today of him walking in the freezing cold mud of New York, some kind of truck yard where he works. He drives like trucks, or whatever, to certain jobs, and it was just this depressing video. And I said, "It's 80 degrees here, Jimmy. I'm still waiting for you to come visit. I'm trying to get him to move down here." And he really has no reason to stay in New York. Absolutely no reason.
He does tile work, right?
He does floors. He could do anything really, but his expertise is wood floors. He would make a fortune down here because everyone is building down here. I said, Jimmy, just come down here. With your work ethic, you'll make a fortune. And you know what? You don't need that much to live down here because it's cheaper. I said, get out of New York. He's he's a seasonal depressive guy. So I said, there's no winters down here. It's never cold. I've been hawking him. I said, you can be on the TV show every week with me. You'll have your own show. I said, I don't know what you're doing up there in New York anymore. There's no reason for him to be up there anymore. He has absolutely no reason.
Where does he live? In your area where you used to live, or?
Yeah, he was on the north shore of Long Island, but more. He was out west a little bit. Out east a little bit further than I was. He was in Huntington Station area. It's nice. It's beautiful in the summer, but it's terrible every other time. It's cold and it's expensive. It's very expensive. I trying to get him down here.
Who else are you trying to get down there?
I notice a lot of people want to get out in the Northeast there, and so I'm like, look, you don't have to move where I am. I don't care where they move, but a lot of people I was afraid to make a move for many years, and I had to be coaxed into it out of necessity.
They a lot of people are moving to Florida from the Northeast simply with the new tax laws make it even more expensive to live in the Northeast.
You're right. But I think a lot of people are afraid. I'm like, I got my whole life here. Everything's it's a pain in the ass. And sometimes you just got to say, what the F, and just do it.
Yeah. Moving's a big, divorce and moving are the two biggest stresses for people.
Yeah, but you know what? Once people actually do it, they're like, why did I wait? I said that. I said, why did I wait so long to come down here? Because I don't make my money in New York. I make my money online, I'm selling to stores and stuff like that. So I can sell anywhere. I don't need to be in New York to do that. Why am I giving New York all this extra money? I lived the New York lifestyle. I had the house on the water and on the South Shore there, that's what I always wanted. I always wanted to have a little house where I can have a boat in my backyard. And I did the whole thing, and it was done. It was over with. I loved the view I had, but I really didn't use the water. I wasn't taking advantage of it, because I'm so busy all the time. So now I have water in my backyard down here. And I got a huge house, and it's a lot cheaper.
Well, if you're up in New York, you'd have to take the kids and bundle them up with the ski pants and the gloves. My
son was born in the middle of the winter. It was freezing. We had him dressed like a fucking Eskimo. We were coming out of the hospital. That happened to be one of the warmest winters we had, though, down there. And then all of a sudden it got cold the week we had him. If you remember, that was the winter of 2016 there. 15 going to 16.
Yeah, that was first I had heard of the polar vortex. Right? Didn't it come down and freeze us out that winter? Or part of it.
It was really warm in the beginning part. Like I think Christmas it was like 75 degrees. And then my son was born January 10th, and it got cold. But I don't know. I guess it's when it's time, people do what they got to do. That's what I always say.
Yeah, well, people like to retire in Florida, right?
I guess.
With all the right.
I'm retiring into working more down in Florida, but just under better circumstances. That's how I look at it. I don't think I'll ever retire. I'll always be doing something. That's just me. I think you're the same way. You'll never retire.
Oh yeah.
You'll be like one of these 90-year-old guys with like fourth, going into court, still arguing with tenants and getting them evicted. And
yeah.
they'll be like, "Oh, that guy Aceto. Yeah, he owns like all of Maine. Yeah, he he owns the whole state. He still goes to court. He's wearing that suit he has from 1976. He hasn't.
Wearing a muscle tech jacket.
The muscle tech jacket, right, Jay? The Jay muscle tech jacket. That's funny. So when do you come back?
I come back tomorrow.
Oh,
and okay. I'm sure I will sleep the entire flight, without a doubt. I slept the entire way over. So
the problem is the trip from England over to the United States is too quick. You don't get enough sleep. It's like what, 4.5, 5 hours maybe, if that. It gets faster and faster. I don't know why. I think I lost Chris.
I'm here now.
Oh, okay.
You did lose me.
I heard like a little weird whistling, beep boop, beep boop. I thought that was it.
That's Pekka trying to get.
So I don't know if you know Jarrell Big Baby Miller. You ever heard the name? He's a boxer. He's from Brooklyn. He's a heavyweight boxer, and I sponsored him for a couple of years with Species Nutrition. He said, "I'm going to win the heavyweight title of the world." I said, "I don't doubt it." He's a big kid, big.
Oh, I do know. You sponsored him?
Yeah, I did for about 2-3 years. I was giving him free product.
How he's got a very interesting story.
What's his story?
I thought he was like, he got into boxing very late, and
how do you know Big Baby Miller?
Is he the current champion?
No.
Okay.
He's got a title shot though. They gave him a title. He finally got a title shot.
Scratch that then.
I knew he had talent, but the knock against him is that he gets too fat in the off season, or for fights he's too fat, and that he's got a heavy punch though because he's so big. But he's like to get the George Foreman conditioning later in George's career, obviously. And that's the knock. But he got a title shot. He's guaranteed $7 million or something like that. I mean,
wow,
it's crazy, right?
That's a lot of money.
He's of Caribbean and Latin descent.
Mm-hmm.
He's been fighting a long time. But I had a feeling. I said I didn't know if they'd ever give him a title shot, but I guess he signed with the right promoter. They needed a guy to fight, and he got the fight. I think that's he's the kind of guy that's got that George Foreman punch that if the guy steps, the current champion's Anthony Joshua who's fighting him. If he steps in front of this guy the wrong way and he hits him, he can knock him out. You know what I mean? And it could be all over. And he could be the heavyweight champ of the world, which would be crazy. Then I'll be like, I fucking should have kept giving him supplements.
Yeah, it only takes one. Yeah.
I should have. He does use my product. He does like the product. I will give him that much. He always gives me very, very nice compliments, and he calls me every once in a while asking me supplement questions and stuff like that. So I'm pretty proud that he's going to get the fight. That's pretty cool, because how many people get the chance to fight for the world championship, of the world heavyweight championship of the world. I mean that's Mike Tyson's title. That's Muhammad Ali.
Yep. Who's your favorite boxer of all time?
I think personality-wise, I think you can't help but say Muhammad Ali, right? I mean, there's just no one with the personality and the larger-than-life persona, and the excitement. Because who made predictions and rhymes, and I mean he had the marketing down right before the WWE was even that big. He was WWE. I mean, about boxing, and he delivered it. I mean, Tyson was an exciting boxer, but he had like a lot of mental problems. I think his boxing was fueled by rage. Ali's was fueled by his intelligence. Ali's a lot like a Cedric McMillan in the sense that I think he had a fear of like failure, and that's what really pushed him. But he had a much stronger mindset, I think.
Yeah, a lot of people have a fear of failure. I mean, it's a good motivator. Right?
Yeah, very good. But he believed in himself. I think he came up with strategies, and he got into the psychology of boxing, and I think he messed with. I know Joe Frazier. He fucked with him more than anyone. He got into his head. I think he beat him psychologically before he got into the ring. I don't think he beat him, physically. I think Joe Frazier was probably a more physically imposing boxer than Ali was, but Ali was smarter, I think.
Ali admitted that he was afraid of Sonny Liston, so he faked he was having a anxiety or heart attack. That he faked it. That he I don't know what did he faked that he was like crazy. He faked that at the weigh-in once when he saw Sonny Liston, he got scared, and so he faked that like crazy, like a enraged, complete nutty crazy person trying to scare Sonny Liston.
Yeah, Sonny Liston thought he was nuts. Yeah, Sonny Liston thought Ali was nuts.
Oh.
So that's Big Baby. I wanted to mention that. I got random notes on nothing. There's nothing to talk about, but I just telling you all the thoughts that go through my head on a daily basis. All these people who contact me.
Bodybuilding wise, I saw Kamal when I was here.
Oh, you did? How's he doing?
Yeah. Oh, he did good. He took off the next day. He had yesterday the amateur Olympia in Tunisia.
Oh, that's right. I remember that took place. Yeah.
Kamal Elgargni's sponsored, or Kamal Elgargni's, amateur Olympia Tunisia.
Oh, he ran that one. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he ran it. I think Mo Masawi. I don't know. I think Mo may have helped him. Mo Masawi.
Yeah, I had a client in there who took third in the heavyweight class, super heavyweight class. Probably should have won, but. I'm not gonna. I don't want to put it out there. I wasn't there, but yeah, I heard it was I heard it was pretty well run.
What country was the guy from who got third?
From Bahrain. You probably worked with him already, Muhammad.
I saw a couple pictures of people in the show. I mean, it's good competition. Kamal got a contract with, I think, like the Tunisian or the Libyan, like AT&T.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, it's like a big deal over there. So, listen, over there. And, they signed him to a contract. Like on TV, and, they use his likeliness and blah, 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 blah.
See.
Just got a phone call.
Good for him. Who's better than he is, man? He's not a young guy either, and he's doing phenomenal up there.
48.
Yeah, right. Isn't it funny? Here's a guy who, most people think your career is over. His career is just starting at 48 years old.
Well, you know what he said too. I mean, he said he has to watch. We were kidding. We were laughing. He has no injuries up until the time he tore his calf in my room.
That's not really even an injury, right? Oh,
He's
man.
never training injuries with the exception of the calf tear.
Well, it's like Dexter. I don't think Dexter had any injuries, right? I mean, I think he maybe hurt his bicep that one time. Who knows even know if that was even an injury, though. So look, some people's bodies are more resilient. Some people's are not. That's it's called genetic variation.
When speaking of older bodybuilders, because we talked about him recently, is Tony Freeman. When are you gonna have him on?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what he has to say at this point. I gotta.
Well, he's got some. He's got 10% Ali in him.
Yeah,
he's flashy.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
No, he can. Because
the sad part about Tony is that if he hadn't torn that pec, he probably would have been top 3 at the Olympia for a couple of years in a row. I'm sure.
No, he had the structure. He had a flex wheel, a Shawn Rhoden type structure to him. With the height of like a Cedric McMillan and good wheels, and good wheels. That was the key. Yeah, phenomenal wheels.
Some of the best front quads of all time. That standing relaxed position. I mean that's where his back. A lot of guys, look great when they turn around and hit back doubles, but he looked just standing from the front, just in the relaxed position. I mean, it was just,
hard to be.
You didn't want to stop looking at him.
If you had him on the TV show, what would be the first thing he would talk about?
There's a lot of, I don't know. There's some. I know Tony's all his little subjects he likes to talk about. His detoxification stuff. He likes to talk about. He likes to talk about the fact they never really put him next to the top guys in the line in the call outs.
No, he'd probably also talk about classic physique and midsections and stand and relax,
right.
and how he was classic before there was classic.
Yeah, but he was big though too. So I think he would advocate for the fact that there's no reason that the big guys can't have classic physiques, and he thinks that he would probably say it's a joke that they have to like make another division. That's what he would say. I guarantee it.
So okay, then that's what he said. You wouldn't even need to have him on the show.
I just answered the guy. Just answered this question. Sorry, we don't need you. We don't need you. We'll get someone else on the show. Oh, I just contacted someone else recently. All the old timers want to get on the show. David Dirth, I think I'm working on him. He's he'll be a good interview. I'm trying to think who else contacted me. They wanted to be on the TV show.
Still no Mike Christian.
Now I'm having trouble getting in touch with him.
Mike Quinn would be good.
I got the Troy Zuccolata coming back on the show. He came out with his own wine. He's got his own
He had hormone replacement therapy before it was even.
Yeah, well, I think he just bought an airplane. Actually, I saw on Facebook. Can you believe it? He bought an airplane. Oh my God! How good is that? Pretty insane, right?
Lonnie Tipo. He was one of Lonnie Tipo's favorite bodybuilders.
Oh, he was. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I don't know why, because he lived and I think he used to train at Bulldog Gym, right? Do you know Bulldog Gym?
No, tell me the history of that one.
I don't know it that well. I don't know about that well. The owner was a good friend, very good friend of Jay's. He passed away a few years ago. I guess he was really respected. I don't know the history. I just remember he trained there. Shawn Ray trained there. A few other top guys trained at that gym, Bulldog Gym.
And that was in what part of California?
Somewhere in Orange County.
Okay.
Before Orange County became Orange County, like way back.
People don't realize Shawn Ray didn't really train at Gold's Venice. He would go up there for like a day or something like that and train, but he didn't live in that area. He still doesn't.
No, he's in Orange County, right?
Yeah.
Probably the same.
Yeah, I think he's in the same place. He lived in Vegas for a little while, but then he moved back, I think, to California.
I think a good iron debate would be him and Boston Lloyd.
Yeah, maybe. Someone else was telling me they want to get Boston Lloyd versus, what were they saying? I'm trying to think who they were trying to say that Boston should debate.
Their
hypertrophy coach.
Yeah, I can't say.
Hypertrophy coach. Oh my God! Everyone's got a little nickname for themselves, and everyone's trying to get a little piece of the action. I love Tad the Diet Coach. That's a great name too. I was on his. He did a podcast. He's got a new podcast on YouTube and the radio podcast, and I was on his show 2 weeks ago. I'm surprised he hasn't reached out to you yet. He probably will.
He was trying to track down Rhoden. I think Shawn wouldn't go on his show because I think he didn't have Shawn in the top 10 this year. I'm serious.
Oh my God! The guy's never been out of the top 6, right? I mean, how do you not put him in the top 10?
Never been on the top. He was, third, fourth, third, fifth, or whatever it was all those years.
Sure, you can't. I mean, that's
once he hit 5th, people are like, okay, that's it, too old.
Too old.
Meanwhile, his jaw was wired shut for 3 months leading into the Olympia in 2017.
You know why no one knew that his jaw was wired shut? Because he doesn't talk anyway. So
that's right.
So they didn't even know he wasn't. They were like, "Oh, Shawn's acting pretty normal. He never talks anyway."
Yeah.
That's the difference. All right. Well, have fun on your last day out there in the UK. And where's your last seminar?
Dave, wherever they bring me, I don't even pay.
Oh, you don't even know. You just get in the car.
Yeah, get in the car, and I don't know the geography well.
Yeah.
I mean, I know how to go north, south, east, and west, but I don't know what towns. I just know there's kind of a little bit different accent every place we go.
Yeah. Next week, this Wednesday, actually, I'm going for. My sister works for Bosley Hair Removal Clinic. She does all the sales for them. She's like the head of sales. She travels all over the country. It's funny. My sister used to work for a laser hair removal clinic. I used to go into the city and they used to do not laser hair. Yeah, they did laser hair, but they did microdermabrasion and stuff like that. And so they used to use me as like a guinea pig over there. I used to go in there for free treatments. And now she works for this Bosley place. And, the new thing they're doing now is they're doing this hair tattooing. Have you heard about this?
Nope.
Yeah, they tattoo like where you're missing hair. It's like they do a dot, like a pigment dot where you would have like where your hair follicle is.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like you. So it would look like you almost like shaved your. It would look like if you had a full head of hair and you shaved your head. You know that look?
Yeah.
It would look like that. Like you would have like a little fine like dark outline. So they create that now. By doing that, if you're missing hair on the scalp like the crown, like I have no hair on the crown of my head. I only have like a balding spot there that I try to cover as well as I can with hair dye and combing my hair back. And I have a scar in the back of my head from when I did the hair, grafts on my head that I have. So what they do is they tattoo the top of your head, Chris. And so, because my sister works there, they want to do this. They're going to want to do it for free. It's like an $8,000 procedure. And I was a little reticent to do it because I'm like, you know what? What if I lose my hair from chemotherapy or something like that, or I shave my head, or I want to go white haired at some point, like when I'm later in life. I'm going to have
tattoos all over.
I have like a dark hair. I am going to have dark spot. My sister's like, what are you worried about? Like what's going to happen in 30 years that you might not even be alive? Don't you want to? Right now, you have dark hair, and it drives you crazy that you don't have this. That you have these spots, and you're using hair dye, and it looks terrible. I said, you know what? You're right. Who the fuck cares? It's not like it's like total. It's very subtle type of a thing. So I'm going on Wednesday. I got to drive over to the East Coast, over to like the Boca area where the Bosley Hair Clinic is there. You're
like the $6 million man.
I know they're like redoing me, right?
The knees and the elbows and shoulders and the hair.
Right. So my sister's going to be there, and they sent me this thing where they have a film crew coming. I'm like, I said, Nicole, what's going on? What do you mean a film crew? She's like, they think you because I built you. They think you're like a celebrity. I said, well, I'm not really. I'm not a celebrity though.
You say I'm bringing my own crew for RxMuscle.
So they're filming this thing like it's an infomercial. They got like a call time, and I got to be there, and now I'm getting nervous. Now, like, I got to perform. I just wanted to sit there and sleep while they did this thing on my head.
Well, maybe you can plug Fiberlize.
Yeah.
While you're...
She's like, you never have a trouble.
You know how
I'm
in the
like,
movies where they put like the Budweiser beer in the movie, or you can put the Fiberlize next to the.
Yeah. So I'm telling people, but they're like, why are you telling anyone you're getting this done? You're not supposed to tell anyone. I'm like, I tell everyone everything. I got full transparency. I got to give advice because there's guys out there that are losing their hair and they're going crazy. If this works and it looks good, I'm the guinea pig here. I'm going to send them a ton of business because, there's a lot of guys that struggle with hair loss, and it's if you can just fill in the areas that are not looking so good, then you don't have to worry about it because no one loses the hair on the side of their head. Right? That's resistant.
No, just on that, yeah.
Just on the crown and in the front. Now, I had the front replaced because I had the hair grafts done years ago. And so that's, kind of good. But they fill in the area that's missing. So I don't know. We'll see. It might look ridiculous. It might look good. I looked at some of the people that had it done, and it looks like it's pretty impressive. And I'm having like the best person in the country work on me, this woman. So I'm going to go Wednesday. I'll be there all day. It's not something I'm looking forward to doing, but then on Thursday when my sister's going to come back with me, stay with me for 2 days, and she's going to come on the TV show. We're going to talk about the whole experience on the TV show. So we've never had a lot of people don't even know my sister, so they're going to get to see my sister. I don't know. We've had my dad on before, but now my sister's going to come on and talk about. Maybe she could tell Dave Palumbo stories about when I was a kid.
I was just going to say, maybe we can have a special show or something which they can call in and ask. Like the Ask Dave. It can be called Ask About Dave.
Yeah, she could tell people how I tortured her when she was a kid, I subjected her to mental abuse,
Does she blame you for her
all her problems?
Issues?
Probably, I'm sure.
Yeah, her issues.
I think she blames my dad for those, but I got off the hook easy, My sister became successful, so she can't complain too much about anything, She makes good money, and she likes her job, so she likes telling people what to do, kind of like what I do. But she's better. She's much better at it than I am. Evidently, she gets paid a lot more. She's good at telling people what to do, and she's a good salesperson.
where are you with the pool scenario situation?
So
I'm following
they
it
fixed
on
my
the Instagram
my
story.
spa. Yeah, they fixed the spa, and they put the I guess the what is it called, the footers down. So now they're putting the outer frame of the pool shell. They're gonna blow or whatever spray tomorrow. So all the cement aspect will be done. Then they come in and they start doing the tiling on the outer perimeter and the spa, and then they do the pavers in my back. And that's when it's going to start to look nice. And then the last thing and then they put the pool cage up, because in Florida, if you don't get a pool cage, you're out of your mind because there's so many insects. You know how I hate insects. I'm like
I thought
bait.
you were going to say alligators.
Well, no, that too, but I'm like bait for insects. I go outside and they all come to me, like you would think that I had something smeared like peanut butter on my face or something like that. And then they come in and we bought this very expensive glass pebble finish. I don't know on the they're gonna put in there.
Well, to walk on.
Yeah, the bottom part of the pool.
Yeah,
you know, you could do the cheap one, or then we wanted the one that was tinted blue. Because
so the water looks
right, it looks bluer.
Yeah.
If you want to tint it blue, which looks like they just basically took food dye and threw it into the mix, it costs like $3,000 more. Why the blue color costs so much, I have no idea. So but I figured if I'm spending as much money as I am already, I might as well go.
Well, that's
out.
what they figure too.
Yeah, they're right. They're right.
They do the upsell.
Believe me, they upsell us on everything. I don't think we took any. I don't think we took.
Yeah, and you do this. It's just a one-time event. It's we're never going to have to spend the money. Once we're going to do it, we might as well do it right. And right.
The only thing I didn't do is I didn't do the travertine for the pavers, and I'll tell you why. And it was real. I gotta give Amanda credit for this. She made a point. It looks great, right? Travertine. That's like the high-end stuff. The problem is there's a lot of it's stone, so it's got pits in it, and the pits get dirty and they get algae in there, and it's a nightmare to
high
clean
maintenance.
it. Yeah, it's very high maintenance.
High maintenance.
So we went with extra large pavers. They're gonna look pretty cool. I think it's gonna be textured and all kinds of craziness. So that I think it'll look really nice when it's done. I'll probably, like I said, I'll never use it probably, but it'll be something great when I look out my window. Ooh, look at that nice pool in the backyard.
Yeah. Makes you feel good when you look out there and see the pool.
Especially at night, you turn the lights on, the LED lights in the pool, right?
Exactly.
And I can do it from my phone. You can work it from your phone. You just
of course you can.
I'll turn the lights on.
Well, Logan can grab the phone from you and short circuit the electrical out there.
So that's my story this week. And like I said, enjoy the last day out there. Have a safe flight home, and we got to get you. A lot of people said we got to get you more on the TV shows. They're missing you. You've been absent from the TV shows, and when you did that little appearance last week with Shawn, Rhoden, they were happy. So we got the Arnold Classic coming up in 4 weeks, so less than 4 weeks. So we'll start doing some more iron debates. It's 3 weeks, yeah. Start doing some more iron debates and stuff like that. And that's going to take us to the end of another episode of Heavy Muscle Radio. Remember, with Heavy Muscle Radio,
the truth hurts.
Good night, everyone.